today we're going to make a delicious risotto. What I'm doing right now is preparing the vegetables for the risotto. Over on the stove top there is some water that is being heated up with some vegetable bouillon cubes, which will be used for the risotto. But while that's heating up, let's get back to the vegetables. This is going to be a zucchini, tomato, and spinach white wine risotto. So what I'm doing right now is cutting up the tomato. I have seeded this half. We take the seeds out and the flesh around them to cut down on the moisture in the dish. So I'm just going to go ahead and cube these. Don't have the world's best knife skills. And seed this half. I just like to cut around to make it easier to spoon out. Alright, we're also going to cut our zucchini. We're going to do it in quarters. Mind you, these vegetables have all been washed before the cutting. Do some nice quarters. Not too thin because you don't want them to get too mushy in the cooking process.
Now, are you following a recipe, or is this a ad hoc dish?
This is an ad hoc dish, although I've made risotto numerous times before. This is a new little cook-up. We'll call it Jill's Risotto, as this meal is in honor of my good friend Jill, as she prepares to move to Springfield, and she has requested.
Okay.
Alright, so now we're just doing the two classic ingredients that make every meal better, onions and garlic. Just going to chop them up. And they'll be what we use to start the sauteing of our vegetables.
Now, I see you're using yellow onions. Is there a reason you're using yellow onions versus white onions in this dish?
Nope, that's just what comes in a big bag, so that's what we've got tonight. I like to cook with recipes that aren't particularly strict, you know? Use whatever onion you got. Use whatever vegetables you've got. Risotto is actually a very easy dish to cook. The only problem is being patient. Now, I don't care what recipe you're working with. If it doesn't call for garlic, you should add it. And however much garlic it calls for, you should double it. That's my feeling on garlic. Whoops. This one just doesn't want to come out of its shell.
Is there a technique to deshelling these things?
Well, yeah, you crush them first, and that loosens up the casing around them. This one, just, there we go, finally. Now, I've been meaning to invest in a garlic press, but it hasn't happened. So I'm just gonna try to, it's kind of a bad spot on it, chop this up the best I can. oil in there. Now what you want to do is kind of just toast the outside of it first. So we're just going to pour it in. It's going to be on its own in there. Maybe we'll throw in a little extra for good measure. Got hungry people coming. But that's going to make a lot. So we're just going to throw that in there. Give it a toss. Try to get it coated in the olive oil. Now we're just gonna let that toast for a minute.
How long does this need to toast for?
Minute or two. We'll keep stirring it around. So our rice is toasted up a little bit in olive oil. I'm going to just throw in a little bit of white wine for flavor. Yeah, this is a Sauvignon Blanc, but you can use whatever you have on hand. Just going to let that absorb for a quick minute, and then we'll start adding our stock. Alright, now the key with adding the stock is to just add it a cup at a time, slowly, and let it absorb in slowly. And that's where the patience comes in. So, just going to keep up with it. Just keep adding the hot stock in and stirring, and that's going to give the risotto its classic creamy texture. So while that's working, I'm going to start sauteing the vegetables in a side pan. Now if you just want to do a basic risotto with just onion and garlic, you can just go ahead and do the onion and garlic in the oil before you throw the risotto in. But when you got some more chunky vegetables, it's good to do it separate. But they'll cook down a bit. Like I said, I love to have leftovers. If you're going to put the time into making a meal, you might as well be able to eat it the next few days. For that flavor. See how it's really starting to look like the right consistency, nice and creamy. It's a nice meal because just pair it with a salad and you're ready for company. You don't really need to do any other dishes. What we have here is the finished product, Jill's risotto with a Caesar salad. Buon appetito!